Jones Bones. It is your girl, Unitedly Random, and I must admit, I like to stick things inside of my ear.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Yes, you've heard right. I like to stick things inside of my ear. It feels so good. If you do it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Pen caps, not pencils, they're too big, but bobby pin tips and little bitty needles. The end of the needles, not the sharp pointy part. You know, I do worry about my health. But I have an obsession, okay? The only reason that I don't do pencils is because, you know, childhood trauma. I really messed up when I stuck a pencil in my ear one time. But all of that childhood trauma did not keep me from doing it yet again. And that is how I got this current ear infection. Okay, so your girl got an inner ear infection. Like, it was horrible. It was so horrible. I was going to go to the hospital. The only thing that stopped me from going to the hospital, honestly, is the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and also hospital bills. Expensive. Too expensive. Can't afford it. Not at all. Healthcare, this is America. Woo. Instead, I went to CVS's Minute Clinic, and we got some things to talk about, okay? So, I know that you guys heard me say that I have a bad history with sticking things in my ear. Let's talk about that a little bit. Think about it in like 2000 and something, because the math on the top of my head is not about to happen. I was in daycare at this time, so I was about 4 or 5 before I started regular school. And the teacher was giving us story time. She was telling us a story about bunnies and whatnot, and I just wasn't there. Back then, I had undiagnosed ADHD. So I was very intelligent, but that ability to pay attention wasn't something that I had. And honestly, it's something that I'm still struggling with to this day. That is why these videos are like this. Back then, undiagnosed ADHD, and the story was boring. I heard the story before I read the story to myself, right? It was boring, and I just so happened to see a pencil right next to me. At this point, growing up, my mom actually used pen caps to dig in her ear, and I saw that growing up. So it was just like, I know that it was kind of like it was a little taboo. Little 4-year-old Alia knew, like, it's a little taboo. Don't be sticking things in your ear. But also, I saw my mom do it, like, at a regular occasion. Like, she did it enough for me to be like, okay, it's not that bad. You know what I'm saying? The inside of my ear was itching, okay? And if y'all never had an itch on the inside of your ear, then wow, how do you do, how are you alive? Because the inside of my ear, it just be itching sometimes. I reached down, I grabbed the pencil, and I went, scratch, scratch, scratch. And, tell me why the pencil lead broke off into my ear. It broke into my ear. And honestly, now that I think about it, the same ear that I'm having problems with right now is the ear that the lead broke off into. So, but the lead broke off into my ear, and I didn't even tell anyone at all that day. So I went home, and we were about to go to bed, and I kind of looked to my mom, and I was like, look, my ear hurts. And she was like, why does your ear hurt? Like, what happened? And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know why my ear hurt. Mind you, I knew that I had a piece of lead in my ear. I knew why my ear was hurting. I just did not want to get in trouble for putting something in my ear, because, like, while it was never like, my mom was never like, don't put anything in your ear, don't do this and whatnot. I think it was kind of generally known that that was something I shouldn't have been doing, and I got caught doing it. Like, I couldn't run away from it. So I was like, yo, I don't know what happened right here. Like, it just started hurting. And she was like, okay, we'll go to the doctor tomorrow. And it just kept hurting and hurting and hurting. At this point, the lead was embedded, like, it was deep in there. It hurted. And I was just about to get in bed, because my mom sent us to bed early. So it was like about 7, and the doctor's office closed at around, like, it closed pretty much right after we got there. But I went to my mom and I was like, look, I might have stuck a pencil into my ear and I got a lead stuck in my ear, okay? Because at this point, my mom was like, maybe the pain will go away. And I knew the pain wasn't going to go away because I knew there was something in my ear, right? So I had to confess. I was like, girl, there's something in my ear. So my mom hurried up and took me to the doctor's office. And while we were there, the doctor got this big, long, pretty much tweezers. He had to search for them. He was like, how am I going to reach into your ear? It's so tiny. How am I going to do this? He got these long tweezers. And without any care of it hurting me, he stuck those tweezers into my ear and he plooped the lead out, okay? And while he was doing that, he was fussing at me the entire time. Why did you stick a pencil in your ear? Need to keep things out of your ear. He told me, don't put anything bigger than your elbow in your ear. I said, wait a minute. If I can't put anything bigger than my elbow in my ear, what can I put in my ear? And he was like, exactly. And like, as an adult, I have remembered that. Like, every time I stick something in my ear, I think about how he said, don't put anything but your elbow in your ear. And I've kind of like, I've threw caution to the wind because nothing has happened since then. I was like, I got smarter. I didn't put pencils in my ear anymore, right? Another thing that the doctor told me is that if I wanted to clean out my ears, and this was a little 5-year-old girl, if your mom wants to clean out your ears or your ears are dirty, use hydrogen peroxide. It will do the work for you. I walked away from that meeting with that doctor not a changed woman. I continued to do what I should haven't done that. And I continued to do it, and it caught up to me. The other day, I believe it was like the 14th or so, like not even the 14th, it was like the 12th of February, I started to get like a slight pain in my ear. I was like, oh, that kind of uncomfortable. And I didn't know why, because I was very much clear to myself. I was like, girl, you didn't stab too deep, because I would have felt it if I stabbed too deep. I'm very aware. Sometimes I get little ear infections, not like, I don't know if they're really ear infections. Like, my ear will get irritated from me messing with it. Like, the skin will be irritated, but it's never been like this. So it started off kind of like the usual ear pain that I might get. Like, it's a little irritated. My ear is a little sensitive. I'm like, that's uncomfortable. But the problem is it kept getting worse. It kept getting worse. And it got to the point where, okay, I went to work and I was like, oh no, something's wrong. And the next day was Valentine's Day. That was the day I had off. I looked at Stuart and we went out, and it was at this point where I was taking a lot of pain pills to just keep going. So I was taking my, my usual well, honestly, I only take one pain pill when I'm in pain, but I was taking 2. So that was already, something's wrong. I'm taking 2 pain pills and I don't know. So the pain pill capsules have 200 milligrams of ibuprofen in them, right? I usually only take 200 milligrams of ibuprofen when I'm cramping during that time of the month. I'm miserable, but I'm only taking 200 because I'm like, oh, I don't like to put too many foreign substances. I don't like putting stuff in my body, okay? And I was taking 400 milligrams. That's double what I take when I'm usually on that time of the month. And I was like, no, and this is still not helping me. It's still not making me feel better. I got to the point where I had to up my dosage. So I'm taking 3 pills now, 600 milligrams, right? And it's still uncomfortable. I can't explain it to Stuart, but what I tried to do for our Valentine's Day, right? We went out on a date. I wanted to have margaritas. I was like, I'm not taking the pain pill on Valentine's Day because I want to drink margaritas. And by the end of the night, I had to take my pain pills. I couldn't chew because everything was hurting. I could barely open my mouth at this point. I was in pain. The next day I called off from work. I said, I cannot go into work with this amount of pain. Like, I cannot do customer service when I cannot even speak right now. That is how much pain I was in. So I called in, I'm like, I'm not coming into work. And I immediately went to the Minute Clinic. So at the Minute Clinic, I did not let her know that I stick things into my ear, okay? I was playing it low. I was like, look, I think I got an ear infection. I don't know why. Isn't this this, you know, more usual with kids? And she was like, yeah, sometimes adults get them too and whatnot. And she was like, okay, here's the medicine that I'm going to give you. So she was going to give me amoxicillin, okay? And she was like, take 1 tablet by mouth twice a day. I was like, okay, cool, amoxicillin. And she said, take ibuprofen for your pain, right? And we was good. We was good until Stuart opened up his mouth. Like, wow. I was like, man, I can't take you to the doctor with me, sir. No, sir. So we were good until Stuart opened up his mouth and was like, excuse me, ma'am, could ear infections be caused by sticking things in your ear like pencils or pens or bobby pins? And she looked at me and she judged me for a moment. She judged me completely. She was like, yes, but you haven't been doing that, have you? And at this point, I got caught. Once again, I'm taken back to when I was 4 years old, getting caught putting a pencil in my ear. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't tell you that? She's like, stop doing that. So twice in my life, I've had a doctor tell me not to put stuff in my ear, okay? And at this point, the amount of pain that I have felt, I'm not putting anything in my ear anymore. Because she found out that I put things in my ear, she actually reprinted my paperwork. So originally my paperwork only said, oh, take this amoxicillin and take some ibuprofen and it should go away. Now that she heard about my, my frolicking and sticky things in my ear, she was like, oh no, you need to take another medicine. The other medicine she made me take was neomycin and child. So, anyways, in that new medicine, I was supposed to put 4 drops in my ear 4 times a day. Before I went to the doctor, I was trying to heal myself at home. And I was doing the benzoyl peroxide in my ear, and I was doing some earache drops. My only gripe about this doctor is she knew I had an ear infection, but she still yeeted that stethoscope thingy majiggy in my ear. Like, afterwards, I was like, I want you to know that I feel very violated right now. Like, my ear feels very violated. And it was to the point that my ear was so swole up that she couldn't see too far down. So it was just to the point where she was like, oh, you definitely had to come to the doctor because this is a problem. But honestly, it was a problem that I brought on myself. So thank you, Alia. But everything is a learning opportunity, like I always say. And what did I learn today? What did I learn other than, hey, you probably really shouldn't be putting things in your ear, okay? Maybe switch to your nose. So that is all I have for today. Much love and positivity. And I will see you later, Jones Bones. Bye.